All right, Dragon, how's it going? Good to see so many of you already here, and some of you already saying that I look tired. Wonderful. You know why I look tired? Because I am exhausted. I think, so when I went to sleep, my alarm was set for 5 hours and 55 minutes after I went to sleep. And I can't go to sleep without reading at least a little bit, so less than that. And I had to wake up that early because I do a morning show and I have to work out beforehand because I can't work out basically all day today because I'm here all day because I do the main show. So get off my back. But anyway, happy to be here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. DDC says that they thought we were only going to have a 4-minute long pre-show. Well, you're wrong. We got a 10-minute one. Hey, I'm liberal. How's it going? Anyway, thank you all for being here. Oh, no big deal. The new Golden Dragon. And I gotta say, this is available at Shop 2YT now. It's to commemorate the 2nd-year anniversary of the Dragon Squad. How awesome is that? What are we gonna have for year 3? We're gonna have to wait and find out. But I love that our team in figuring out the lore for this one went with D&D lore. That it's the dragon that represents sort of like wisdom and justice and all of that. How awesome is that? And I saw that some of you already have it. I've seen people post pictures and stuff. So shoptyt.com for the anniversary. Nice little way to look back on the 2 years we've spent together. Paul, I am not going to be going to Gen Con this year. I am really hoping for next year. We'll see. I went 2 years in a row before the pandemic, and then the whole thing got ruined. So anyway, but I would like it to happen again. Okay, now let's jump into a little bit of news. We are going to be closing by talking about Mark Meadows. He apparently is the sacrificial goat, so that's fun for him. But first, because I want to give people time to sign on, definitely hit the like button if you haven't already, so people know. Yeah, I do have the light spot. Okay, I'll do this, but I'm just going to hurt my eyes and my head. Okay, so let's talk about COVID first of all. The cases are jumping up at a faster pace than they have been in recent weeks. You can see maybe a little bit of a sharper uptick there, 130,000 cases. We had been lingering around 90 to 110 for quite some time. Hospitalizations and ICUs, those going up as well. And the deaths are just shy of 400. Now, a lot of people are talking about, well, is it this new BA.5? Nate Silver reassures us that the infection fatality rate is going to be much lower than it was for Delta, so it's not the worst variant, which it really all comes down to what does the word worst mean? And thankfully, we have people who, actually understand the medicine of this and they understand viruses because Nate Silver is saying if the infection fatality rate is lower, then it's wrong to say that it's worse. It's badly misleading. But as Will Stansel points out, the infection fatality rate was also lower for Omicron than Delta, but Omicron caused more deaths, so what on earth are you going on about? Yes, so how bad is a virus? Well, it's a combination of a lot of different things, many of which I probably don't even know about. But how many people, what percentage it kills of the people it infects is not the only factor. How many people it infects is going to interact with that, of course. So, get vaccinated if you're not already. I would be shocked if you weren't. Boosters are apparently coming. Do be a little bit careful. We're apparently on the precipice of potentially going back to mandatory indoor masks here in LA, so that's fun. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm still really hoping. Really hoping for not that bad of a summer, but we're gonna have to find out together. Jedi Dragon's been a member for 19 months. Says, first day back at work after COVID. Got my mask and Dragon Squad shirt, and it's my 13th month anniversary. No, actually 19. For some reason, it just didn't seem to work. Thanks for helping keep me sane, Dragon fam. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm trying to stay sane. I'm trying to focus on stuff that is light and fun. I went and saw Thor this Monday. That's really fun. Tonight, I'm going to be watching the final episode of Miss Marvel. I'm excited for that. Oh, and also, I'm excited for something that might come from it. So I had tweeted something about Marvel to Emma because she said there were no movies to see or whatever, and she was mocking Marvel. So I said, they're really good. You should go see it. And she said that it's like the worst it's ever been, which I think is, I don't even think that's an opinion anymore. I think that that's insanity. So I asked her if she wanted to appear on my podcast. about this. And we still have to work it out and figure out there's time, but I want to have a debate on the state of Marvel, the state of the MCU 2022, looking over Phase 4, all of the shows that have come out over the past year and a half. And so obviously that's not a damage report thing. This would be on the Peanut Butter Storytime podcast. And if you want to get access to that, including our past episodes where we've looked into movies like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and X-Men and a whole bunch of fun stuff, that's available at patreon.com/John Itarola. But I'm going to be working with Emma to hopefully get her on there. I think it'd be really fun to do a bit more of a zoom out and look at, we've got like 5 movies now from Phase 4. We've got like half a dozen shows. I think it is the golden age of the MCU. But anyway, that's how I'm staying sane. Laura Land says, being medically compromised makes all these people pretending it doesn't exist anymore scary. Totally understandable. And trying to make anybody who does believe the code still exists is a crazy person. The fact that they would say that, even worse. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to talk about Lauren Boebert confusing the Constitution with the Declaration of Independence. I don't think we're going to have time for that. It's just funny. It's not surprising or anything, but it's funny. But let's dive into Mark Meadows. So you might recall that at the beginning of the January 6th hearings, all the Republicans were saying, there's nothing here, nothing bad was done. Come on, why are you wasting your time? Well, now they seem to have coalesced around, okay, so some of this looks really bad. And a little bit later on the damage report, we're going to be diving into some of what came out yesterday. So someone is probably going to need to go down, and they obviously don't want that to be Donald Trump because they want him to run for president in a bit. And they seem to be coalescing around Mark Meadows. That's what apparently Trump attorneys are saying. They're looking into making him the fall guy. He's in a lot of trouble. They're trying to distance themselves from him already. Bear in mind, this is a guy who has, well, look, this isn't a shocker. I'm going to say something that we've gone through many times. He has shown endless loyalty to Donald Trump, and he will be punished for it. How many times have we been through that? So, the House Select Committee is apparently looking into Meadows' financial dealings for evidence of legally dubious payments with other Trump advisors seeking to overturn Joe Biden's election win. By the way, they should consider maybe looking into the fact that Donald Trump gave if I recall correctly, what was it, hundreds of thousands of dollars from his election defense fund to Mark Meadows. So it seems like if they're focusing on that, Donald Trump seems implicated in that as well. But anyway, they're saying Mark is going to get pulverized, and it's really sad. Based on talking to Meadows in the past, it felt like he doesn't actually believe any of this election theft stuff, or at least not most of it. He was obviously just trying to perform for Trump, and now maybe he's screwed himself completely. And 8 sources still in Trump's political orbit or legal defense say that he was widely loathed by other Trump veterans. Well, that is hardly news. They all hate each other. This is all a big grifty competition. Yes, the great reminder of Meadows' own voting trubs and all that. And look, Mark Meadows did do. Oh no, I was gonna give him a little bit of credit, but that was Kevin McCarthy. No, Mark Meadows is actually just the worst. Now, Mark Meadows, they said right there, didn't believe in any of that election theft stuff. Well, first of all, he could have been an active participant in the coup and not technically have believed election theft stuff. I don't know, maybe just thought they won. But this is interesting and a bit spicy from yesterday. He apparently told an aide not to quit because Trump wasn't leaving office. This allegedly happened on December 2nd. Now, the person we're talking about is the former White House Communications Director, Alyssa Farah Griffin, who talked on CNN about a conversation that she had had with Mark Meadows. So this is a conversation in relation to, you remember when the guy from Overstock and Sidney Powell, and I think, was Mike Lindell there? I think Mike Lindell was there. They don't list him. They say Mike Flynn, but he might have been there. Anyway, they went to the White House between the election and January 6th to figure out how are we going to steal this election. She had an issue with that. She said, who waived them? Which is putting them through security to get onto White House grounds. We don't even have that answer now. Well, Mark Meadows or Trump or whoever. I don't really care about that part. She says, I suspect it was Mark Meadows, and I say that because I can tell you before I resigned, I said, sir, I'm planning to move on. I want to put in my notice. And he said to me, what if I could tell you we're actually going to be staying? You can interpret that as hypothetical, but there were people around the president telling him that, And that's what led to this absolute insanity. And she said, I moved up my resignation to the next day and said, no, of course not. I told all my staff we lost. And she did resign on December 3rd. A little bit of this could be covering her ass or whatever. I don't really know that much about what other participation she might have had in this. And bear in mind, she had stayed on about a month after the election during any number of different press conferences and tweets and all that, legal challenges, all spreading the big lie. But Mark Meadows apparently believed, no, we've got this. You can stick around. We're going to win. Now, look, he might have been lying to her, trying to, maintain cohesion to satisfy Trump or whatever. But apparently he was telling relatively high-placed staffers that they weren't going to be going, that whatever it was that they had cooked up, and they had several different schemes, that it was going to work and they were going to stay in office. Now, all this is bad. All this looks really bad for Mark Meadows. But Mark Meadows, did we think that all of this came about because of Mark Meadows? Would we be satisfied if Mark Meadows ended up going down for this, but Trump was fine and can run again? I can only speak for myself, but that would not be satisfying for me. Anyway, MSM says, just watched Ms. Marvel this morning. It was really great. I think this is one of the best Disney Plus series yet. Happy Wednesday, Dragon Dad Squad. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm really enjoying it too. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the pre-show. Fortunately, you've got the watch list coming up. I believe Adrienne Lawrence is still in charge. Definitely stick around after that for the damage report, because I'm going to be joined on a rare Wednesday appearance by Brett Ehrlich. So that's going to be a lot of fun. For now, though, the watch list, and I hope to see you in 1 hour. Oh, it's Franny today? Okay. Well, still, definitely go check it out. Let them know that the Dragon Squad sent you, and I'll see you soon.